Welcome to yet another episode of United Guns of America. I am your host, Brian Redmond, and today we are doing a firearm review on a gun that is quite popular. It is none other than, if you can see it in the screen, right there. It is none other than the Glock 22, which is essentially the full-size 40 caliber edition of the Glock. This is a Gen 4 Glock 22, and yes, this one is has a few modifications. This is not the stock G22 that comes out of the box, but we're gonna go over just some of the basics about the gun, talking about just the different characteristics of it, and pretty much why I actually bought it. So, first and foremost, of course, for those of you that don't know, the Glock pistol has been around for since like the late 70s, I want to say. I think it's late 70s, by my man Gaston Glock. He was the inventor of the Glock, and basically what it was, I guess one of the biggest groundbreaking things of the Glock is that it is one of the first very successful and very popular and very well made polymer frame firearms. So for those of you that may be novices when it comes to firearms, you may ask, well, what do you mean by polymer frame firearm? Basically what that means is this area here, the plastic that you see, this is a polymer. This is basically the frame on most guns, especially years ago. This part of the gun was usually metal. This gun, however, is a plastic. It's a very hardened plastic. It won't break in your hand, or it's not brittle or anything like that. It is extremely durable. Very, very strong metal. Does not break down or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. But one of the biggest advantages of this polymer type frame is the weight. It makes the gun lighter. It's not as heavy as some other guns. Some firearms, like for instance the Beretta 92, that is an all metal frame firearm. I think the only thing that's plastic on a Beretta 92 are the stock grips. Other than that, everything is like metal, and that is a very well made firearm as well, and I actually have a review coming up about that one, so stay tuned for that. But getting back to the G22, one of the things that I do want to say about this gun is that this gun comes in a very different caliber than like the 17 or the 43 or something like that. This comes in the 40 caliber bullet size. This is a 40 caliber bullet. Actually, I can do this. This is a 40 caliber bullet. As you can see, it is a tad bit larger than like a 9mm or a 380 or something like that. This is actually a very nice round. It is a Spear Gold Dot. I love this. This is I think it's the Lawman edition of this particular bullet. This is a hollow point. So this bullet, basically what that means is that when this round is fired, this part comes out, and this part, once it hits its target, it expands kind of like a mushroom cloud, kind of like blooms and blossoms, if you will. So leaving that right there. So that's pretty much what one of the biggest things about this gun is, just the caliber that it's in. A lot of people may not know what 40 caliber is, and you can kind of say it's kind of like the caliber that's in between like a 45 and a 9mm. So when you're talking about different calibers, you have quite a few. I wonder, can I name them? Let's try. So you have your 22 caliber, you have your 32 caliber, you have your 38 caliber, your 38 special, your 357, I think it's 357 Magnum. Then you have your, I'm gonna say, did I say 380? If I didn't say 380, I'm gonna say 380. Then you have your 9mm. Then you have your 40 caliber, then you have your 44, and then you have your 45, and not to mention the newly around 10mm. Can't forget the 10mm. That's after the 9mm. And I can't remember the name of that FN caliber pistol. I mean that FN caliber. I thought that one had a special one too. I'm not sure, but that's damn near close. If I miss one, it may just be one or two at that. But I damn near named all the calibers. So with that being said, I said 380. Yep, I did say that. Yeah. So with that being said, that's pretty much one of the things that you're talking about here, is that this basically is good. And a lot of law enforcement agencies use this gun. A lot of law enforcement agencies, however, are going kind of like back to the 9mm, but this has been quite popular with law enforcement, and that's because it's a 40 caliber bullet. It has a higher grain bullet, which makes the bullet a little heavier, which with the right type of velocity gives you a little bit more stopping power because it's a bigger object, heavier object. So that's why a lot of law enforcement agencies go with this. So this is a full-size firearm, and basically this has a 15-round magazine, one in the chamber, if you can see that there, and yes, that magazine is color filled. If you saw my Glock 17 video, that one was also color filled too, but it was color filled in white. This is color filled in yellow, and I did that for a specific reason so that I could see which mag is which. If I'm in a low light situation or something like that, I can actually do that, and I can actually see that guy and know what's what. So I'm not putting the wrong magazine into the wrong firearm. So, and for those of you who may be concerned, this firearm is safe. There is no magazine in there, and there is no round in the chamber. Let's see if I can get that in there. Yeah, you can see it. Alright, so this guy is all clear. I definitely made sure of that several times before I did the video, and therefore I know. So, at the end of the day, that's one of the biggest things about it. We got the 40 caliber bullet size. We have the polymer frame. This is a striker fire firearm, which means that the fire mechanism is just basically a firing pin that's inside that actually hits the bullet and makes it go bang. So when you're talking about like the Glocks as well, like I talked about in the G17 video, the Glocks pretty much have 3 triggers. I'm sorry, not 3 triggers. If it did, it would be a triple fire firearm. But that is not the case. It has 3 safeties. And that's basically the trigger safety, the firing pin safety, and the drop safety, which is actually right here on my Glock mat. Yeah, that's what I use. Yep, there we go. That's a reference to it. It's awesome. And it also gives you an exploded view of the firearm as well. And you can list and see all of the parts, all of the different names, and all that good stuff is right down here too. So this is a really cool mat. I love this mat. This is one of those just awesome things that Glock did when they just, with branding themselves and all that good stuff. So moving right along, one of the things we talked about, the 15, and plus 1, so that's like a total of 16 shots that you have with a firearm, with this firearm. Everybody always that knows me knows that I do like high capacity firearms. No, I don't think I need to walk around with a 33 magazine 33 round magazine, but I do like the fact that I have a good size, a good amount of rounds, which is, in my opinion, should be anything that's 11 and up. I think you're good. The reason why I say that is because I'm the person. I believe that you should never have to be in a gunfight where you have to reload. If you're in a gunfight and you have to reload, I believe that you're in serious trouble. But with a firearm that has 11 or plus more rounds in it, I believe that is enough to be able to take on multiple assailants, at least 2, possibly 3, depending on how great of a shot you are. And then you'll have those people that'll watch this video and they'll make the comment, well, if you go to the range enough and you have proper shot placement, then you could do the same thing with a 6-shooter. Bull shitty. At the end of the day, I always factor in things, different variables, like what do you call that? Adrenaline, tunnel vision, just lacking muscle memory, because you don't get in gunfights every day. You don't have the muscle memory to necessarily perform the way you would like at a range. Standing at a range on a gun line, firing down range, that's totally different than you possibly being in a situation where you are in a gunfight with maybe 1, possibly 2 different people or more trying to survive. So it's totally different situation, and with that different situation comes a lot of variables. And the fact that it is a stressful situation, you lose a lot of things like fine motor skills, your sight alignment, and I mean not sight alignment, but your vision gets tunneled. All of those different type of things that happen. If you look up a terminology, and you can even do it on YouTube, look up OODA loop. OODA loop is a very informative tool. It lets you know a lot about what happens to you and what happens to your body when you're in a very stressful situation like a gunfight. So check that out, OODA loop. I might even do a video on that too, but just check it out. Other than that, moving right along, when you're talking about the 3 internal safeties, we went over that. Also, you have your sights on here, and just like with my 17, I actually upgraded the sights on here. I have the Trijicon HD sights, and basically what that is, these are basically sights that glow in the dark. I don't know if I can make this one go to kind of, sort of, maybe so, not really, but yeah, these sights glow in the dark. So when you don't, in a low light situation, when you're trying to get your sight alignment and your sight picture and all that kind of stuff, you can actually get those 3 dots in a line. Also, too, this front sight has the HD. The HD sight has a red, or this is orange sight on it, so you can actually use this sight in a close quarters combat situation where you're essentially just using your front sight to place that on your target, and you can basically acquire your targets a little bit faster with this one, with that HD, with that orange dot on the front. So that's definitely one of the things that I like about this. Also too, because and also too, with the stock sights, they have what basically I call the field goal post. A lot of people call it too, where it's just your front white dot, and then you have a little U in the back. Those are what the Glock usually comes with. I don't know if the Gen 5 upgraded or changed that, but I know like Gen 4 and under, that's what they came with, and this is a Gen 4. Also too, with this upgrade that I did, I upgraded the finish. So if you look at my slide, you see that I have a mirror finish or a polished finish on here, and basically what that does is just looks cool as shit. That's all it is. It just basically has the reflective finish on it. It's shiny. It's so shiny. It's like Tamatoa, baby. Those of you who watch Moana know what I'm talking about. My little girl makes me watch it all the time. But that's what I did, and I actually had the barrel polish as well. So I have basically a chrome finish barrel, chrome finish slide, and also my feeder ramp is chrome too. It's been polished as well, and that just assists in just feeding rounds into the chamber a little bit easy, into the barrel a little bit easier. Makes it nice and smooth and a little bit resistant to gunpowder residue. Also, is there anything else that I want to talk about this guy? Yes, it is. My very cool Autobot plate on the back. This is the back plate for the firearm. You see I have the Autobot sign on there. Yes, I did. I don't know why I thought that was going to stay up there, but it didn't. But it looks like it can. I also have my G17 as well. And you can see that they have alternate, like this one's chrome and that one's black with the Autobot sign in there. So that's pretty much what I did. Yep. That's my 17. That's my 22. Yeah, it's so sexy. But getting back to the matter at hand, that's pretty much my Glock 22. As far as just the performance of this firearm, I cannot stress the quality of this firearm. It has worked tremendously. Fires every time. Oh, also I did Talon grips on here as well, like I did with my 17. I love this Talon grip. It is awesome. It makes your the gun feel really good in my hand. Don't have to worry about it slipping or anything like that. I literally can just put this guy on, heat it up, get it on there nice and tight, and it's been fine. This is the rubber. They have a one that's like a sandpaper grit type of feel too. Depending on what you like, you can do either or. But getting back to the performance, this gun performs extremely well. I would trust my life with this gun. Every time I pull the trigger, she goes bang, and that is extremely important, just having that confidence in your firearm. And I talked about this before. When you're looking at purchasing a firearm for your everyday carry, for your personal protection of your family, protection of those that are your loved ones and all that good stuff, you want to make sure that your firearm is of good quality to know that it's going to work. The last thing you ever want to do if you're in trouble, in a gunfight, or you're in a situation where you have to pull your firearm out, you don't want to have the thought of, I wonder if it's going to fire, or I wonder if it's going to jam like it did last time. You don't want that thought. So that comes along with properly cleaning and maintaining your firearm, and also purchasing a well-made firearm. Cheap guns break very easily. Cheap guns have very low quality parts. That's why they are able to be so cheap. That's why they are so affordable, is because they don't use high quality parts. Will they work? Yes. To a degree, they absolutely will work. I will not be one to say, oh, those guns don't work. A lot of them can have problems and malfunctions, but essentially they do work. But do you want to put your life on the line and your gun possibly malfunctioning at a time when you need it most because you wanted to save $100? You wanted to save $200. you wanted to save $50. I don't think that your life should be put in jeopardy because of a discount or because of a poorly made firearm. If you're going to carry a firearm, carry a well-made one. Do you need to have the most expensive gun on the market? No, you don't. You don't have to go out and get a $1,500 or $1,800 Kimber. You don't. If you can afford it and you like it, sweet. If you want a Wilson Combat 1911 45 and you just want that gun, looks great, yup. But you don't have to go that high. You don't have to get into, the $2,000 firearms to use for everyday carry. If you want something that's pretty, you want something to put in a case, you want a showpiece, I get it. Absolutely go out and buy that. But when you're talking about your everyday carry, just get something that's well made. Stick with the major brands. Stick with those guys that have had just years and years and years and years and years of tried and true experience in quality and craftsmanship. Great customer service. You're talking about, and I'm going to drop the names, you're talking about your Smith & Wessons, you're talking about your Glocks, you're talking about your Berettas, you're talking about your Springfields, you're talking about those are like the big players. Those are the ones that are in. You're talking about definitely your Sig Sauers. Those are just the main guys that make very well made firearms. So it's like you want to stick with those. Not to say you have to get this one or have to get that one, but just think about those brands. Those should be some of the first ones that you do test out. You got your other ones that are out there, and yes, they are out there, but like I said, you don't want to put your life on the line for something that is not possibly going to just perform at its very best every single time. And this is something that I definitely would say that with. I would bet on this gun. I would bet that this gun is going to be there for me when I need it. And that's what you want to be able to do. So if you got any other questions or anything, be sure to hit me up at ugoa1791@gmail.com. You can go ahead and comment and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I got plenty of other content coming. Once again, Glock 22, thumbs up. If you guys got any other things for me, just hit me up. I am Brian Redmond. This is United Guns of America. And remember, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Peace, and I'm out.